for being here. I really appreciate it. And I'm obviously Kerry Washington. I'm the general manager, the Litecoin, mobile Litecoin wallet, which is Litewallet. Let me talk, he already said it, but I've been in the foundation 7 years. Worked at Apple, Mapbox, Ticketplay, all the Silicon Valley who's who's. I'm a signal officer, retired. Went to Santa Clara University, but I love football. And I love it so much, I live in England now. Yeah, so enough about me. Let's talk about the help. And the reality is you can't do any of this stuff by yourself. I want to talk about the partners. And the reality is people don't think of it this way, but the Litecoin Foundation has been a great partner for Litewallet. So like I said, we used to start, me and Charlie would go have pizza. He and I would just kind of discuss ideas and everything like that. And before we knew it, we're like, oh, we're fixing bugs, but we need money. We needed to do this other stuff. So he kept the faith, the foundation kept the faith, and over the 7 years, we've spent a lot of money. We've done a lot of projects to improve Litewallet. It's been rough, especially with the price of Litecoin being down at some places, right? So the idea is, I just want to thank everyone on the foundation that's been helping for this many years. And the reason why I bring this up is because Litewallet is now actually helping the Litecoin Foundation, not just a loss leader. So thanks, guys, so much. Next is Profico. So Profico, you guys probably haven't heard of them. They are very awesome. Basically, about 5 years ago, a guy named Ante, he's the guy with the glasses there, reached out to me, and he said, oh, I want to do some design stuff for you guys. And I was like, okay, sure. He showed me his portfolio. He's the creative director for the Litewallet team and for his company. Amazing, right? And I said, this is a joke. These guys are so good, right? And he's working for free. And the reality is what they wanted was kind of some visibility across the board outside of the EU. They're a big agency. They've been doing a lot of work for big companies all over Europe, and they want to go further. They're in Croatia, and basically for the first few years, they helped here and there, and then about 6 months ago, I said, hey, we need to redesign Litewallet properly. So I had a proposal out, talked to a lot of companies, and Ante is like, hey, we can do it. We'll give you a reasonable price. We know you don't have big budgets, right? And so that's what we're doing. 2024, a few months ago, that was the first time I ever met him. And first time I ever met Matteo. Right, so what do? Redesign. Litewallet, the interface, people say, oh, it's great, it's simple. It's 8 years old. It needs to be properly readdressed. And so they're helping with that. We have folks all over the team working with Profico. Social media posts. So it's interesting. He talked about outreach and marketing. For us, this is the #1 thing, right? So we were doing social media is kind of in the blind. We didn't really know, and these guys do it all the time. So 2 or 3 times a week, we're on Instagram, we're on Twitter. Please follow us. It's amazing. They do fun stuff. It doesn't give you a headache, right? It's simple things that people can understand, because we want more people that don't know anything about Litecoin. Like I said, I love football. Luka Modric is an amazing player. He's from Croatia. So I just want to say thank Profico. You guys are awesome. Please check them out. They have a lot of cool projects that they work on. All right, next, the team. So like I said, it's not just me. We have the partners, but we also have the team. And the team is kind of spread all over. I started kind of full part-time, but I really kind of spend a lot of time, even though I'm supposed to be part-time. My volunteers, it's the same thing. They like what they're doing, so they spend too much time on it. I have 3 key active members across the globe, and we have folks that come in and help from time to time just doing different things. So we've got all these other languages and time zones, which means we live off of Slack. It's important. We have 3 verticals: support, engineering, and marketing. First things first, Claudia. So Claudia has been on the team almost as long as Anta, but she is a powerhouse. So she started 2021, and she said, hey, I just want to do something. She did the FAQs in Spanish that we had written, and amazing, right? And she said, like, what else can I do? I said, can you please help with support, right? So she's a real person. She really does answer tickets. It's not an algorithm, right? A lot of the questions, you know, from doing it for a long time, she knows the answers automatically. She also was doing tweets and social media. I was supposed to write them, and we were doing about 6 or 7 a week. That's a lot of work. And what she would do is just nag me and say, Kerry, come on, we need to put this out there. So I call her producer because she just makes sure that it happens. And because she's not a developer, her perspective is really good, right? She's like, hey, I wouldn't want to sit here and sync for an hour. And I'm like, yes, I'm listening to you, right? So that's great. Give it up for Claudia. Next, you guys probably met this guy. This is Patrick. He's based out of Ohio. He's also from 2021. He is actually a psychologist, and you need to if you're a customer support guy. He's only doing part-time for Litewallet, but he got a certification with Zendesk, which is a platform that we use, and he also writes FAQ tickets. And I rarely get to meet my team, so it's really nice to see him. Please give it up for Patrick. He was here working on the booth. And Josie. So Josie started 2023. I saw her, she opened a PR for something on Litecoin.net, and I saw she had a background in cloud and Java, which I desperately needed. And I was like, hey, maybe you should join the team. And she's been amazing. So anytime we do like front end, back end web stuff, she's like on it immediately. She's learning Android, and she does a lot of my PR reviews and stuff. And she asks a lot of questions. She's a student, and she's a tech student. So I'm like, ask as many questions as you can, right? Make me sweat. That's the way it should be, I feel. And I really appreciate the work she does. Oh, give it up for Josie, please. Awesome. Right, so we have a lot of other folks that kind of jump in when they can. So Leon actually was, I would say he used to be an active member, but he picked up another job. He has a master's in data science from, I think, UCLA and San Diego. And so he's helping me write some tech papers. I have Ivan and Hassan. Ivan is actually from Profico, and he did some work, but he got busy. Same with, you know, it's really hard to get a senior iOS developer to work for free, especially when they're making 6 figures. So I'm just happy. I'm happy that they can help at all. It's great. And then the Profico team. So you guys saw them in the pictures. We're in touch with them. Like I just was texting them right now, and they should be asleep. Guys, go to sleep. No, I'm just kidding. Awesome. All right, so this is all the fun stuff, but let's talk about the reality of publishing mobile apps for Android and for iOS. And the reality is it's not simple. I think a lot of people have this notion that, oh yeah, from the web environment, you don't have a gatekeeper. And the reality is Play Store is a great example where everything was working, and then they send an email and say like, hey, you need to upgrade your version, or else we're going to take it down, right? And if you don't touch Android code for a couple of months, the dependencies basically break. So you can't compile, and you don't know why, right? So this happened to us. The funny thing is, we had a couple of bugs. We isolate the bugs. It's open source. And I say to the folks, like, hey, here's all the stack trace. Here's all the crash information. And I go to Fiverr and like, hey, can you do this? I'll pay you. And people just kind of creep away. It's daunting for a lot of folks, right? So it's difficult, but the reality is at least we're making progress. In the Play Store, we're at 4 stars, which is amazing considering we don't really have a big team. App Store, so like I said, I used to be at Apple. In May, they had a fun time basically banning every submission that we did. the only thing we changed was trivial. And it turns out that a lot of these governments are basically saying, hey, we don't care if it's self-hosted. We don't want it to be in the store. We don't want people to see it. And I think a few people have brought this up. And so I basically had like 9 rejections from Apple. And because I knew people, and I was like, and they said, okay, it should be okay. And I was like, okay, well, but that means that we need to do a lot better solution so that they don't say like, oh, it's really difficult. I'll just put it that way. Here's something that everyone loves to talk about, and I will talk about service fees. So the reality is a lot of people think, oh, just publish it, it's no big deal. Remember, it's been 7 years, almost 8 years. Originally, you know, costs were really low, right? And we had donations and everything. But then you got 4.5 stars in the App Store, you get 4 stars, and now you have bigger services, you have to pay more, everything like that. So it's very difficult to actually run a team like that, especially if you don't have resources, right? We do get donations. We can't have them in the App Store, so it's only in Android, which is our biggest sector. And it's never growing at the same rate as our user base. So it means that we got to think about what we're doing. Now, Charlie and I actually talked about this for like 4 years ago. People don't realize this is not just a flash in the pan. But the thing is, because we have revenue now, we can actually do outreach. So one of the funny things when we actually started doing service fees, we actually saw an uptick. And I think what it is people start valuing sending, right? Before it's just like, oh, I'll send it, whatever. But now they're like, okay, think about it before you do it. Also, because we have marketing now, so we have people that know nothing about crypto, right? So they're asking, so Claudia and Patrick are very busy answering questions from like 3 years ago. Now here's the thing, if you really, really just hate service fees, you can go to Newborn. So it's funny, Rebecca was like, oh, I love this thing, it's an orange. I'm like, yeah, that's Newborn. Newborn is Litewallet with MWeb, right? It's been around for 3 months. You guys can scan it, take a look at it. There's no service fees. It's an alpha version of Litewallet. And the idea is like, we need to get those numbers up so that we can see if there's any issues. Boom. We can, before we put it in Litewallet, we want to get it in, get it fixed. So, awesome. Thank you so much. Awesome. Introducing Litewallet Stealth. So those of you that have pins, I hope you have them. What is Litewallet Stealth? It's basically branding MWeb, because we know what MWeb means, right? But if you want to sell the idea to someone that knows nothing about crypto, people know what stealth means. It's the idea of, hey, I'm going to send you money, you know how much I sent, and that's it. And that's basically what MWeb is. But it's not that simple. We already have Newborn. You can download it and see it. There's some quirks with it, right? So when you do that, do you want to show some MWeb in the history? Do you want to have a mixture? Do you want to have just SegWit? This is why we have to work and figure out how to make this happen. There's other levels of privacy modes that we need to work on. Also, making MWeb successful means like more people are using Litecoin. Remember, Litewallet is a Litecoin-only mobile app. I don't think there are any others, right? So the idea is like, if we can get more folks using Litewallet, we know it's going to actually keep the floor of Litecoin price up. So let me, yeah. So I actually put a roadmap. I used to be a product manager long ago, so I'm actually giving you days here. So the idea is first things first, we want to take some of the old middleware we call Litewallet Core and swap it with LND. But really, before we do that, we need to put both in there. Then we want to make sure that people that already have seeds, that they can actually migrate easily and not lose everything. That's kind of a big deal. This is like September to October. Then we actually work with Kyle to do MWeb Explorer. So we already have a server connected to the API so that we can get stats on MWeb. We're going to put it in the interface for Litewallet. And then finally, like, I think the first release candidate is going to be late November. We want to do it before the end of the year and make sure that the stealth legacy mode makes sense, right? And then finally, the polishes like settings and utilities and stuff like that. Awesome. All right, let's find a winner. Did you guys bring a pen? Okay, I'm gonna, because I know we're gonna have another panel coming up, I'm gonna randomly say you, you, and the guy over here that just shaved, put his, yes, come on over, I'm gonna give you guys a gift. Guys, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And please check